What is going on? Car guys and car gals, it's really happening right now. We have the incredible two right here breaking through, shaking things up. Oh, we can't wait. Do what you need to do. Let's go ahead and get this party started, everybody. Let's brew.
Let's brew.
What's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And it's Frelin Arts, the subprime hero.
And we are excited to be shaking things up here on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. It is ridiculously about time that we have the show that we are having today.
Oh,
and
man.
We're so crazy pumped up about it. Whew, there's a lot brewing. There's a lot. Can you smell it in the air? Can y'all smell? Can you smell it?
Yeah, dude. I smell that. Oh, that Solutionary sauce you're talking about.
It is.
Yeah, man.
It's definitely
delicious. It's got notes of excellence, notes of hustle in there, notes of change, and notes of love. And man, I can tell you this is going to be a great show today. This is a special brew just for you folks. Get out there and start sharing this right now, because who we have in the show today, we have a dynamic duo, two guys that we've been following, hanging out with, getting to know, and watching them grow, right? Man, I make some stuff rhyme today. I don't know what's going on. It must be the coffee that I'm drinking, but man, I'm pumped up. I'm excited. Lou,
man,
right?
I'm really pumped up about this, because this is the opportunity for the entire industry to see what happens when people come together that are really dedicated to seeing people grow, to see the development of people inside of business. No matter what end of the business that you're on, whether in the car business or in other businesses, it doesn't really matter. If you find yourself developing people, you're going to the next level no matter what. And what I absolutely love about these black-hatted, bearded brothers that we love to communicate with is that they are consistently always showing love to the people that are around them, showing love to us, right? Showing love to everybody, and everybody wants to find their way to get around them. So we don't want to stop that tradition right now, everybody. So tag a car guy and tag a car gal and share.
Come on now, let's go. Sharing is caring.
Party started. You know the deal. So we're not going to do this much more. Make sure that you get everybody going. What's going on, Brian Ortega, Don Brady,
I see you
Terry
out there.
Corline. So excited
Come on,
that you
keep them
all
coming.
Are up in here. Let's go ahead and welcome in this dynamic duo, this incredible pair of solutionaries that are brewing solutions. We have, I guess we can't say the one and the only. We have the two, right? The Paul and Kyle from the Automotive State of the Union. Let's go. Welcome.
It's about time, man.
Yes.
Man, them stars are aligned. The gravity is pulling. We are together. Things are happening. He's got the swag going.
That's
I'm
right,
feeling the
that's right.
swag.
I feel like that does have to be turned
Turn the
around.
hats backwards. We're getting some hawk on it. Here we
I gotta go backwards.
Over the
That's how
top.
it works.
Oh,
This is-
everybody
y'all.
knows what to do.
This is Friday energy. Just so I'm pumped that this is on Friday because we throw the caps backwards on Friday, and when you're with Fred and Lou, you got a full on like head down. Let's go, right? You got to bring the energy.
Let's go.
Legit. I was like, you announced us to come in, and I was like, I'm just kind of like enjoying, like absorbing all this. I'm like, man, they got it for days, energy for days. It's amazing.
Well,
So
we
good.
love
So
you
good.
all. We appreciate you all.
No, we're honored, man. Super
Thank
honored
you.
and humbled to have you on
So,
here, man. This is
we've done this.
yeah, dude. This was
Cheers.
something that was supposed to be
We
happening.
made it, dog.
We did. We made it, Mom. Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously, folks out there, you guys know the deal. These guys here have been doing some incredible stuff. If you've been to an event in the last couple years, you know what they're doing, man. They're doing some dynamic stuff that's making people excited, putting smiles on their faces, showing them how to have a good time, but yet learn, right? And it's not about the dollars, it's about the people. It's about growing together. It's about making a change when we can make a change, and that's right now. We don't have tomorrow. We don't have yesterday. We have right now. And man, you guys are doing it right now, bro. So cheers to you both.
Cheers.
Keep growing.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to have you guys
Cheers.
on the show.
Boom.
Takes a
My
community,
bad.
man.
Covered
Takes a
mugs.
community.
It does, man. And it really does. But you got to strike up a community. You got to raise a voice in a community sometimes to get things going. You got to make a change. And man, you guys are some troublemakers. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it, Lou. How about you, bro?
I don't know. I'm really loving it. So I know we got the sound over on the other side. Somebody is waiting for that. Somebody hit that for us sometime. You
Kyle's
over
got
there?
that button. Kyle's got that.
There we go. All right, that's for you, Chris Becker. Appreciate you jumping in.
Hey,
And
A
so
to Z,
excited
man.
about
A to
everybody
Z
being up in
Sync.
here.
Shout out to them out there. Love them, folks. Great people.
That's right. That's right. So,
Chris
there's a
Becker
lot
went
that's
to pew,
brewing.
pew, pew.
A lot
So-
that's cooking. What's going
So
on
look,
with y'all?
you guys use the word community, and you all, what you have built is, I think, like a legit form of the community. Community in my mind is like this new buzzword. Brand has been the buzzword, like 3-4 years ago, people started to use it. And then it got like every good word of substance. Once it becomes a buzzword, it begins to lose its punch. Right. And I'm just saying it right now. Community is that next word, right? You're going to start to see, hear it, feel it everywhere. But the actual principle of community doesn't get diluted. Just like brand doesn't get diluted, the actual point of brand doesn't get diluted. Community means people together having one another's back with a common belief system, actually serving one another. Like, you can't just build community if there isn't this co-service going on. And, Gary Vaynerchuk said it a couple weeks ago in a post. He's like, a lot of people, when they say the word community, if you peel that back just a little bit, it actually just says customers. And so I appreciate what you have built, because it is the essence of community. And I felt that love from the very first time we got to spend together, which was actually the four of us were together a little over a year ago for the first time ever at Glenn Lundy's house for the 4th of July. Remember that?
That is true.
Wow, man.
That is true.
Dynamic. And it was. What a great time that was, too. That was a great show out, great music playing. We had people singing on the deck. I mean, it was just, seriously, like dynamic. And then the fireworks at the end of the night. But both of y'all brought
And you had your
beautiful
whole families.
You both brought your
the whole
families, and it was
family.
beautiful to meet your families, your wives, and your kids. And wow.
Literally, Kyle and I were there. We were like, we need our wives to meet, because we were like deciding whether or not to go into business together.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't
That's
even.
what that weekend was all about. Like that's
why
a
we
big
were there.
reason why we were both there. Not just, obviously Glenn and he invited us, but that was a reason why our whole families were there. So that was like a marker. You met us. We were all four together, and like a marker of what the last year has been. So
Wow.
That's crazy. It makes sense, because
No.
I remember one holding a baby, looking over
man.
at the side, just like almost like
That was that
seeing
that
what's
is
going on with the
beautiful.
lady.
That is so beautiful to even know that we were there. I have pictures of that on my phone. I have a lot of pictures from that moment.
that was a great. It was
And just
great
being
day.
there that day, and with both you all, your families, and everything else, and watching that happen. And look how 1 year. Look what a year can do for all of us. Look how far we all can go, and
Truth.
the things that do change. And if you look back at the last year, you wouldn't imagine where you're at right now. It's a completely different place, but yet it's still in the same direction that you're going. And that's amazing. I love what you both are doing. It's amazing. I'm glad that you two teamed up and had that chance. Glenn Lundy, shout out to you, brother.
Shout out to Glenn.
Big
What's
Rising
up?
Grind, my friend. Morning 5, killing it out there on Clubhouse and the Breakfast with Champions. What a great show that is too. Man, there's just so many people speaking this this rise, this change, this whole difference that we could make if we just all get together and do it. But it takes a community.
It does.
It does.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I mean, you just said this, we set out, you know, a lot of people set out to do something over a year, and that trajectory consistently, like it's always moving in the same, like in the same direction, but there's like bobs and weaves, and we've taken a lot of those bobs and weaves. But what we've realized, and we keep talking about this, is like, yes, there's, you know, you, Fred and Lou, and there's the other people within the industry that are all going, yeah, there's a movement, there's an ebb, there's a flow to this change of culture, shift in perception, you know, the necessity to do things differently from a business perspective, both in consumer and employee experience. And so our whole goal is just to kind of like, we say it as like throw a beacon up, right? Put a lighthouse out there, you know, that people can kind of go and gravitate toward and say, yeah, my people are probably right over there. And people that maybe that believe everything that we're saying, or that this community is saying, or, you know, are questioning whether or not that's the direction to go. And so they can at least say, over there is where that conversation is happening. And so that's what, you know, Automotive State Union and really everything that Paul and I are doing, and we know that you guys are doing, is kind of putting that beacon up and saying, you know, hey, look, here's a centerpiece of what we can say is the community pushing automotive toward, you know, newness of culture and perception and technology and integration and all of those things that the industry needs to continue to not just like progress and survive, but thrive.
Wow, I love this. And you folks, see what I'm saying? There's so much information here, and I need you all to keep sharing this out there right now, because there's going to be so much more. And here's what I want to do. And I do want to talk about a lot of things, because having this opportunity to sit down, because I know how busy all of our schedules are, to have this opportunity to share this with our audience so that they can have a little bit of hope and maybe some excitement to see what's coming up in the future we could talk about. But I want to talk about the past. I want to talk about both you all for a little bit before we get in talking about what's happening in very soon. And I'm excited to talk about that, because there's some rebirth of something happening, and I'm excited to talk about that, right? But I also want to talk about you too. But before we do anything, Lou,
yes,
you know the deal, and you guys, if you've seen the show, you know that we drop F-bombs quite often.
Right, we're some drop it.
We do. We are some F-bomb dropping fools, and we want to make sure that you guys all get to be part of that F-bomb dropping crew. And this is our secret handshake. This is our secret lingo.
This is the special combination to make sure that we can always keep growing. And that's to apply those 3 F's. And that's to wipe off the weight of unforgiveness.
Amen.
Focus on where it is that we're going. Stretch out in faith and stop at nothing to keep growing. Growing. And as we do that together, we start to find more that join the flock, and then we start F-bomb dropping everywhere. So help us with it as we get ready to really get this show underway. On 3, this is history, everybody. Let's forgive, focus, and fly with Paul and Kyle up on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. Let's get ready to rock it. On 3, hit that music one time. Whoa. 1, put the hands on the shoulders with me one time. 2, 3, forgive, focus, fly, and
we got to do that again. Got to do that again.
Growing. There we go. There we go. All right.
One more time. Can we do that one more time? I needed practice.
Absolutely. And take it back. Here we go, everybody. We're going to get this going right. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing.
That's right. That's right.
There we go. Now we're ready to do this.
I'm sorry. Needed it twice.
We all need that all the time.
Down
right?
on it. Look at this.
It's so deep.
We got a couple of pairs here that are trying to really make this rock. There's something that you just said, Kyle, and it's in my head. I got to get this out, because you also just hooked up with our friend Michael Cirillo, who's an incredible industry standard raiser, also that's weaving. You said the word weave, right? He is also weaved into the culture that's happening and on the raising up of all these ships. And I believe that it was at Glenn's last event that he did with the 800% Club that he did a full explanation and a breakdown. I'm pretty sure it was him that spoke about the weaving together, and he gave an illustrated explanation of how it all does weave. And I think that's what it is. We're being weaved, threaded. All of the stuff that each of us bring and weave in with each other, connecting to each other, is helping to strengthen the load that this industry is carrying. and something that's happening right now, and I want to definitely hear your input on it, because now that we're a year later, you guys are about to host one of the biggest events to redefine what's happening inside of automotive. But we find ourselves at a spot where the industry is really, the independents are getting more of the opportunities that the big box or franchise dealers have, while the franchise dealers are learning how to operate, and the importance of learning how to operate as independents. What is it that now you think is the reason why it's so critical that everybody starts to actually listen up to what voices like you and Michael and many others are coming to the table to talk about? Because that's what they want to go to conferences for, right? Even redefined ones. They want to hear something. They want something to mark them. Why is it like now, hey, this is really crucial that you all start to listen now? Why is that? And I'll let either one of you all take that.
Yeah, you want to
You
take
got
a
a
swing, or
couple
I'll take a
hours,
swing?
boss.
Yeah.
Let us sit down at the fire. No.
No doubt.
No, I mean, okay, so everything that ASOTU, or Automotive State of the Union, is kind of predicated on is that there are constantly, and this is not anything that's changed, but there are constantly market forces and like disruptors or instigators, I guess, pressing in on any market. It doesn't matter what vertical you're in. There are consistently different market forces contributing to the necessity for change. And there are times when that is like a lowered level of forces and a heightened level of forces, right? When we went through the pandemic, very high level of market forces pressing on the retail automotive dealer and saying like, hey, look, whether it being not being open or inventory shortages or anything like that. Well, the new dynamic is that litigation, as well as OEM agency model, as well as, I mean, I could go on the list forever, are consistently saying to the public, which is the perception eye of retail automotive, that the current way of doing business is not the way that we either need to or will do it in the future. And what that really tells dealers is that we have to do some work within ourselves. And there are multiple ways that needs to happen, whether that be focusing on regional brand or focusing on culture, employee culture, or customer experience, that are like a necessity to even keep going into the future in a similar way that we have from like just a business perspective. And so those are the market forces that are pressing in. And our argument is like the one thing that we have to fix is experience. And we say that primarily customer experience, but also employee experience. And so, you know, whether you say that's like acting more like these independents or looking more like, you know, like fitting into the agency model, whatever that be, is we got to solve for customer experience, because people vote with their perception. And so, you know, litigation and all of that, and or not even just like the popular vote of, am I going to spend my dollars with you, is at risk. So, yeah. I hope I put that. I mean, that's like 2 hours into.
Right? You're so right. You know, and I don't disagree with you. You know, and I agree with everything you just said there. And you did take a lot and put it into a little, and that's excellent that you were able to do that. I'm telling you, that's just so you know. But I do feel you on that. And folks, you guys got to really hear it, and especially you dealers out there and you salespeople out there that are trying to make this a career and not just do this for tomorrow's money, but doing it. I mean, not do it for today's money, but doing it for tomorrow and growth and community, like we keep talking about. That's a big word. Big word. So you have to really look into, how can I make sure that my process at my store, how do I hire my people, and who do I look for, and what kind of skill sets do I look for in the future, right? And there's so many things that we can look at that are going to be different. And I love that. Even how we even advertise towards hiring should be different. We shouldn't be looking just for sales pros anymore, or whatever we used to say when we were putting out an ad. I think it needs to be different, because in order for us to get a different, diverse talent pool, we got to reach from different places, but we got to put different words out there, speak a different language so they understand our language. And I think that's a big part about what you guys are doing. Now, you know, talking about the past, I do want to throw this out there really fast. Both you all have an amazing pedigree of what you guys have done to get to where you're at today. And I appreciate what you guys have done and what you've done for the industry and how you got to where you're at. Each one of y'all, different places of the United States. You guys came together, you know, got to meet up and do some amazing things and unite your powers. But there were so many other people involved in all this, you know, and, you know, to include, like you said, your wives, and they had to meet just to make sure this would work. I love that you guys bring family into all that kind of stuff.
So awesome.
That purpose, each one of you all, and I have to ask this question because this is something we ask all our guests, especially if we're just going to ask one question. I want to know your whys. What drives you, right? I want to start with Kyle. Kyle, what is your why? What is your purpose? What makes you wake up every day and say, I'm going to go out here and do everything I can, not just to make a change in automotive, but to make a change on this planet, on my family, on my heart. You know, what can I do? So what does that drive for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like to get like way root core, right? Is that I believe that the God of the universe has uniquely put in play a Christ that is Jesus, that says like the way of living of this world is not the way that it's supposed to be, and that there's a better way. And so that informs kind of everything that I talk about right? So from being a family, from being a dad, to being a business person, to engaging in relationships, saying like, hey, look, the way that the world, you know, does business or engages as a family or anything like that from a cultural perspective is an ask on wanting the kingdom without the king. And so that is prevalent in every single thing that I do, whether that be business or family or relationships. And so that kind of comes out in everything. And so you can, if you hear like what I just said about the automotive industry and now contextualize that, it's like, hey, look, the way of being in business has, like, the goal for me is to recontextualize that into like that we're imperfect people doing imperfect things together, and that understanding that allows us to approach life and living together and being in business together with a whole new level of humility, with a whole new level of you know, desire for the other person's good, if we can perceive life through that, you know, that worldview and that storyline, because like whether it be personal, family, or business, redemption is the true story. It's the true narrative written on our hearts. And so yeah, I don't know if anyone expected me to go there, but there I went. Like you asked the hard questions, so there you go.
There you go.
That's the answer. That
in my heart, I knew you were going to go there. I did. I had a feeling in my heart you would, because I feel like every time I've ever shaken your hand, I felt that already about you, right? And I think that's something that's really a powerful trait to have. You know, you perceive yourself that way, not because you want people. That's just who you are. And so in your core, I had a feeling your answer would be something very similar to that. I'm very glad we got to share that, because I think a lot of people need to hear that. This is the automotive industry, and that wasn't a cool thing to talk about a couple of years ago, right? Nobody wanted to hear that. Everyone's like, that's not needed in industry. You know, it is. It's needed more than it ever has been. And I'm really glad that people like you are injecting their way. Literally, for us certified solutionaries, it's our saying is know the way, show the way, and go the way. And it's very important. We all know what the way is, right?
Jesus.
It's important to talk about that. And we that's where it all starts for us, you know. So thank you for sharing that.
Let me give you like 30 seconds on like extrapolating that into my why in auto. Is I just have a passion for the industry. I have a real passion for like the people that I've met, the way that this industry serves the community, the way that the industry serves its employees, and the best owners and operators and business people and salespeople and lot porters and all of that out there are doing dynamic things within their businesses and their communities that I don't think many other retail environments in the US can even come close to touching if we do it right. And so that knowing that can be implanted in every community in the US, Canada, and overseas, like the spider web of the dealership community is so deep and so rich that if we do it right, it would have not just like an impact on our business, but an impact on our culture. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, particularly in auto.
Well, and in our field, well, and it's almost any field, right? As those that do have a regular ritual of being churchgoers and making their walk of faith happen, they often find themselves saying, how do I participate in the ministry? How do I participate in being God's hands and feet on this earth, right? Because there's just this one guy up here that we're listening to. What do I do? And in the auto industry, we've needed it for a long time. And so many times the answer, as simple as it is, would seem so just distorted when you say you want to figure out how to start fixing life or start fixing your business. Put Jesus where he belongs in your life. Make sure that cornerstone is placed correctly inside of your life, and everything else you can build upon from there, even if you have to knock it all down and rebuild back on that again. And I love that you're passionate about that. I love that you're consistent with it. And that's something, again, that I believe is what is permeating. It's a leaven that is permeating the entire industry, and it is showing us growing towards something way bigger than more units, more hours, more money, more effect, more all the other things that we get kind of lost with. But with that, we want to also know the same question with our friend Paul.
We have to. Come on, Paul J. Let's go. What you got, man? What is yours?
Picture. I don't know if I can get to this picture with my headphone. Let me see. Hold on.
I got it. All right.
I got it.
Hold on, I got it. There you go.
Oh, snap.
I got it.
Wow.
I got a picture. You can see my lights. So this is a picture that I have yet to hang this up in my office because I moved offices. But basically, it's a cathedral when you look at it inside. But then when you look a little closer on the bottom, you see it's like Main Street down there, right?
Oh,
the pews are buildings, and there's cars, and there's a
crazy.
street down there. And so this has been in my office for every office I've been in for a long time. And for me, it's a reminder because grew up in a huge, like very blue collar family. We didn't have much. I'd never been in a car dealership my whole life. I was going to go into ministry very similar to Kyle, right? I have a foundational belief that I was created by the God of the universe, and he's got stuff for us as his creations and his children to do, to serve the rest of his creation and contribute to it. And I was going to go into the ministry, and then I started a business in 2003. And it took me a few years to realize it's the same thing. I fell in love with business. I fell in love with the automotive industry. And just like to what Kyle said, the auto industry spans literally in every community, in every corner of this country, right? There's no other industry that's everywhere. And that has a community, I'll use that word, around it that actually draws them all and brings them all together. So at the core of my being, I know that I was created, and God told us to do a couple things in the very beginning of the Bible. If you've never read it, he was like, be fruitful, multiply, check, right? Check. But he told us to, and he said something like subdue the earth, right? And that is what that actually means, is to contribute and to society, to create, to build things, to innovate, to do things. And that comes from everything from like, how do we get clean water to how do we get a better product that helps us build out an F&I package that helps us serve a customer so they can go do the things that they need to do to build and create and cultivate and be fruitful and multiply. So what drives me is this understanding and knowledge that that I was created with purpose, and that purpose there's no difference in the purpose of the auto industry or the purpose of someone who, is a doctor or someone who is, a trash collector.
Yes.
There's no separation and there's no difference. So I got up every morning wanting to be a person of substance and character that, looks at my family, my children, and looks at all the coworkers that I get to work with and my business partners and my other friends in the industry and people that might hear or see some content, and just want them to have this impression that their life has somehow found more purpose and move closer to the creator and move closer to those things as a result of being in my proximity, obviously. And that's orders of magnitude depending on how close. Like my wife, my relationship there, she needs to be able to say it, because she can't say it, then no one else should be able to say it either. So that's kind of the summary, but very similar, very similar to what you all are saying.
Yes, well, we are definitely going to church, everybody, and we're loving it. If any picture ever showed car church, it's that one right there inside of that.
Right. I didn't even think of that.
But there's something that you keep leaning into, and again, it is the first thing that biblically was ever said to us to do, and that's be. Is actually the first word was be fruitful and multiply. And you saying people being around you in proximity, being around you, you being you. Not saying just what you are, but being you, being a true person in whatever field it is that we are, you being one that acts as if you are loved. It makes it easy for you to be one that loves others. And it makes it easy for you to do your work as unto the Lord. And I absolutely love this. We can talk about this.
Oh, I mean, I love.
We need to start a separate podcast for this.
No kidding. You know, and absolutely. And, you know, the point of being imperfect, and it's okay. And I love that. I want you all to hear that. We are all imperfect, and it's okay. The largest room in the world is the room for improvement. And we all fit inside that room. And it's okay.
I haven't heard that one. That was good.
Good.
No, the biggest room in the world.
The room for improvement. We even have a clubhouse room called that. Seriously, like it's called the room for improvement. And we talk about the things we're growing on. But the thing is this. I love that you're talking about that. I love that it's a purpose inside you and you understand that, and you're sharing that light with others to understand that's okay, because none of us have walked a perfect path. We try our best to, but we understand that sometimes things happen, and guess what? We're forgiven, right? Man, it's powerful. It's deep. I'm blessed. And I'm blessed that we're having this show. Folks, we can talk all day about this subject, the why and the purpose. And of course, we could talk about him all day long, and I'm proud to do that. Man, excited. But let's talk about rebirth. And rebirth is very exciting, right? We're talking about this industry, and we're talking about things. I know, that's why I love it. And, you know, and when you talk about this industry, we talked about how things are changing, and we need to make sure that we're making that shift, that pivot, or whatever word that you use out there, right? We do need to make sure we're doing that, but maybe not doing what we did at all, completely changing it up, the rebirth, something new, something completely from a completely different perspective is needed, right? And I think that's something that you guys are talking about, and something that is happening with you too. And I'm excited to talk about that. Now, Automotive State of the Union. Wow. I have to ask, what was the driving force that made this become something? How did the whole thing? Formed? Yeah.
Very simple. The story of ASOTU is that the pandemic hit. We had just come off NADA, and within a month, right, a lot of people found themselves sitting at home locked down, right? And that was a very like a high to a low really quickly. And like I'm sure many of you at the time, you were in the dealerships, right? A lot of people didn't know what to do. There was tons of uncertainty. And when I was on a phone call or a Zoom call, which was new to a lot of people back then, it's even weird to think about that, right? Sure. People did not have virtual meetings. I mean, for those of us in like agency world and kind of a little more tech savvy, we did. But I would say the majority of the auto industry did not ever jump on a Zoom call or a Google Meet or anything like that. So I found myself, like many of you did, in Zoom calls with 30 and 40 other people who also didn't know what to do, but they seemed to feel a lot better when they could share what was going on. It was literally like, hey, what's going on at your place? What's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I was brushing my teeth one night, locked down in New York State, right? We couldn't go into the office, just thinking like, what is it that I can do to help scale this feeling in the industry? Like, what can I do? And I was brushing my teeth. And I was like, I need to have a live stream. Right. And I was like, it's got to sound really official, because no one's going to come otherwise. So I was like, it's got to say Automotive State of the Union. Like, we're going to like just put a flag in the ground and assume that this is the best place that knows exactly what to do. And so I had a designer make the logo. I was like, make it look just like the US State of the Union address, right? So you look at the first logo, it's like stars coming in. It looks really presidential. And then I just started asking questions, for introductions and things. Asked a ton of people across the industry, from Rhett Reichert, who was the chairman at the time, all the way through the line. Everyone said yes. Every single person said yes. And we had that first live stream. I thought we might get in trouble for going into the office. I'm like, are we going to get in trouble for this? So 3 or 4 of my ninjas at my company who came in, and we like had this LinkedIn Live. If you go back and watch it, it was even like glitching, like we were coming to you from a bunker somewhere. and thousands and thousands of people showed up. And so we just kept doing it. That was the synthesis of banding together. And that was the tagline was, when dealers band together, no crisis can win. And that was where it came from 2 years ago.
Man, that is powerful. And I love that. Make it sound official.
Yeah, we need official sound.
You know, it's,
and then you need a logo, because when you have a logo, it's real. It's a real thing. And all it was a logo. Right. Man, and that was the synthesis. And then, Kyle and I met and realized like we had a very similar passion. Like we would have thought like, you sure? Yeah. But how do we like talk the same and think the same? And strangely enough, we kind of look similar. And we dress the same, all that stuff. But that was like a later thing. And then when we realized like we had this shared passion, that was really what ASOTU, ASOTU, Automotive State of the Union. That's what ASOTU needed, really, to take it to the next level, was Kyle coming in and saying like, I'm willing to throw in on this. Right. And that's when it like, you guys know, right? The two of you together, right? You can make it happen. So then we made it an official company, and now it's like we're less than a year still on that for sure, but running hard.
That. And again, it's echoed still in scripture. When they're sent out, they were sent out in twos. And very
it's funny. It's a funny thing how those principles tend to live their way out in all of life.
They just kind of hang out, don't
one
they?
can send 1,000, two can send
10,000. That's right.
Multiplication.
I love God math.
That's so. Yeah, exactly. It's God math, and it sometimes it doesn't compute, especially when you start to see the favor finding its way to you. You're like, oh my gosh, I only see that these are just from the seeds that have been sown, and someone else, the Father, is bringing the growth, but it's bringing other incredible people to us. And I love what it is that you all have together. I love what it is that we have, and what you're cultivating in the industry. And with that, and I love how you brought up the brands. And I do recall your very first episode. I was hoping to trigger a little nostalgia, that making the intro or making the graphic that we brought in be that glitchy flow to it, to get that kind of feeling for it. But there was a rebranding that you're saying. There was an initial branding for you all, but you're talking about a rebranding to the industry. You're talking about a rebirth to the conference.
Oh,
so let's
man.
talk more about
Let's get into it, man.
Let's talk about that rebranding and the need for it. Who wants to take some of that conversation? Why are we making
we're both like, look, we know if one of us starts talking, we're just gonna
we're
give
not
it
going
to
to
So it's like rock, paper, scissors. All right,
This is the time where
here's the thing.
This is when it's like, okay, hit it, take it, go.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll tell kind of like the middle part of the story here is Paul did an event in the middle of lockdowns in Philly, where less than 100 people were able to come and be a part of it. He did it on a whim. Like I think there was like 3 or 4 weeks to prepare for it. And he always said like, I want to come back and bring as many more people as we possibly can around similar conversations or more timely conversations. So when we decided to make the company and not just have it be like a side hustle where we were doing side events only, move to a daily email, move to a daily podcast, create this media company that is consistently communicating the things that need to be most relevant for dealers and industry partners in order to speed up the community and in order to speed up collaboration and innovation. We knew early on, and this, I mean, at this point, this is only 6 months ago, we knew that we wanted to do a standalone event. Like it was kind of in the rumblings in our belly. And so NADA goes by and we're kind of planning the year, we're getting things going, and we were watching NADA and they were prepping for Digital Dealer. And we just knew, and there was this kind of energy around, we really should do something. Like we think we can bring a fresh energy, fresh insights. We can be super timely with it, bring people into an environment that's maybe a lot different than what they are used to expecting out of a conference, but also like wrap around all of retail automotive as well as outside influence. And so we kind of got done with Digital Dealer. We hosted a family reunion again for the third time, kind of after party event. And we got back and we were like, all right, I think it's go time. Let's do it. So we started making calls, and we started like just pinging people. We built like a real quick deck so we could, and we had a designer make a logo in like 4 days. And same thing. It was like, once we get a logo, we can start sending this thing out, right?
That's it. That's all it takes. I just need my logo and I'm good, right? The logo
funny
means
about
it's
that.
real. And now
Yeah,
you got
real
stickers
thing.
too.
So
But
then,
is.
you know, we found the venue again, was able to host, and so we're going back to Philly, doing it, throwing down this time. And yeah, I mean, we can talk more through the event, but really what we're hoping to do is curate conversations, right? And intentionally create collaboration between multiple dealers, between industry partners and dealers. We're going to have some OEM representation there, which is not normal for the majority of conversations. Like NADA holds some of that, but not the rest of automotive conferences. So we recognize that we need multiples of those. And then we're actually going to take from outside of automotive retail and bring in some other influencers or thought leaders that might give us like a customer facing perspective. Because what we realize is that we need all four of those parties working together to create a renewed customer and employee experience. So we're going to be talking not just marketing, we're going to be talking marketing and service and sales and operations and culture and, you know, even some like accounting level stuff, right? We want to span all of that from a conversation perspective. And it's not going to be a bunch of like workshops or, you know, PowerPoint presentations. It's going to be conversations, real participation. We're going to have audience feedback opportunities, and we're keeping the whole event within like, I mean, you can literally get to anything in the event space in less than 90 seconds from each other. So there's just going to be a lot of like bumping elbows, rubbing shoulders,
like hub and spokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, I love that. And it keeps everybody there. Conversations happen so quick. And what I love is on the website, you guys say, welcome to the collaboration, right? And that's what it sounds like to me. It's a collaboration of people getting together and just changing, making a difference. I love that you're bringing outside sources, not just for the customer view, but also for different perspective, right? Because sometimes we get the blinders up because we've been doing, even if our blinders are a little bit wider than others, we still have blinders because we've been doing it a certain way for so long. To have somebody else open it up for us, we can see all the way around us, have all perspective, man, that can change some stuff up, man. So I'm glad that you guys are talking about that, because that's important for us, for the industry, for the customers that are coming into our industry, you know, buying from us and using services that we have. We want to make sure that they have the experience that they need. Customer obsession should be number one. And that's how you do it, by finding every resource and getting people together and championing it. And I love that, you know, having a collaboration. I love that. I love it.
There's something that's going on in culture right now, which is kind of an undertone for why we are approaching it with the velocity that we are. And there is a great convergence that's happening. And I can't think of another time aside from the initial like introduction to the vehicle of the automobile, or maybe World War II, right? When production kind of shifted and changed. But cars are a very regular part of pop culture conversation. We used to have to look for automotive stories in automotive places, but now automotive stories are on front pages of newspapers. They're in pop culture magazines. What Tesla has done, you know, has brought like a fashion sense to a new generation of automotive, right? We had just years, a few years ago, 3 years ago, the talk that was happening at NADA was literally that people are falling out of love with cars. People are moving away from wanting a sense of their own transportation, and that having a car was no longer going to be the rite of passage for a teenager that it was for all of us, right? And what has happened, they were talking about, you know, outsourcing transportation and ride sharing, and maybe somebody will buy a car and it'll be used for a bunch of different people, you know, or maybe you'll like have a subscription to a car. All this was going on just 3 years ago. And what has happened, pandemic, a big part of changing this back, but also EVs having like this element of entertainment and technical savvy has really brought everybody back into the center and saying, hey, like cars are amazing. The automotive industry is amazing. So there's this convergence of pop culture and EV technology and retail awareness and, you know, social media. All of these things have come together. And the way we take the next step is what that has done is actually created this crucible where dealers, independents, franchise dealers, anyone in this industry is now in a crucible because the heat's being turned up, and we're going to refine what it actually is, with the consumer experience being the primary problem we have to solve and everything else serving that. So when it comes all the way back to ASOTU Con and why we're doing it the way we're doing it is because the old way doesn't work in any other area of the car business. Why would we assume that the old way of coming together and activating as a community should be the same as it's been forever? And those places, this isn't either. I don't want to get it confused to throw shade on the other conferences, because we need them. We're hopeful that some of the things that we're doing might inspire them to do some new things as well.
Yes.
Just to, like you said, move things. Because look, we're only gonna have 600 people at our event, right? We need to gather 30,000 at NADA, right? And all of us have been part of smaller events in automotive, like David Kane's event and Business Bourbon and Cigars and Brian Pasha's events, where you have a smaller but more collaborative environment. And so we're trying to scale that up. We're obviously trying to sprinkle some fun in there and like the ASOTU vibe and make it more like TED Talks meets South by Southwest.
And you know what? That is a great description of what an ASOTU party feels like, man. It's a great time. You get in there. There's usually a good mix of what's happening and what's going on. I love watching, the people and how they get excited. I mean, the first one we went to, Brian Benstock was on a chair with music playing. Remember that? What song was it? It was
this is how we do it.
Yeah, this is how we. And he was getting down, and that was so fun to watch and get that going. And man, I remember just being there and just feeling that energy and just knowing that this industry is changing. There's something going on right now. And that was just a little sprinkle of it. And then every event since then has been more sprinkles of that. Then you guys had the event where you guys had the podcast going in the center. You guys had microphones and everybody was just jamming and just sharing it all and just bumping it out. What a unique idea. What a great idea, I thought, and I remember sitting there just hearing things, getting inspired and just hearing the words that we've been waiting to hear from industry leaders, industry speakers, people who do amazing things. Man. And this is what's going to happen. Those were just little nuggets. Those are bite-sized nuggets of what this event's going to happen. The rebirth of the automotive conference, my friends. Can we give you the
breakdown of what we're actually going to do schedule-wise?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. So here's the deal. It's most conferences, people leave feeling, exhausted and overwhelmed, right? Because it's a long haul. So we specifically said we want people to feel inspired and energized. So we're keeping it short. The whole thing is less than 48 hours. Sunday night, September 11th, everyone is going to come in Sunday into Philly. Everything is really close to the airport also, by the way. So there's not going to be any of those terrible 1 hour city commutes where you go 5 miles, right? The venue is only 8 minutes from the airport. The welcome reception is only 8 minutes from the venue. It's all in a great spot. Welcome reception is actually in a dealership. So it's not a conference hall. It's happening in a dealership. It's the brand new flagship Subaru store in the country, Sioka Subaru of Philadelphia. They have amazing atrium. It's like a 5-story atrium. And we have a lot of fun stuff planned. There's going to be a charitable cause. It's September 11th. So we're going to honor some folks and we're going to raise some money for some really good causes. Monday morning, we're at it at the venue. Hot breakfast. All meals are included with ASOTU Con because we want everyone to stay in the same place. Full day, main stages, side stages, podcast stage. There's actually a cheesesteak, Gino's cheesesteaks inside the venue that we're going to open up at lunchtime. So if you want the Philly experience, you're literally going to get a Gino's cheesesteak from a Gino's cheesesteak stand in the venue. We're going all day Monday. Meals are included again. 5:30 happy hour hits with heavy hors d'oeuvres so you can eat again. Then the whole venue shifts from conference mode to entertainment mode, because it's an entertainment venue, actually. So we're going to have a silent disco in one restaurant. We're going to have karaoke in another restaurant. We're going to have a live DJ in another restaurant. And then outdoors, we're bringing in Nashville's hottest party band to play an outside show from 8 to 10. And get this, anyone that works at a dealership is invited. So if you want to come in just for the party, it's free.
For free.
If you work at a dealership, if you're a service writer, a lot attendant, a janitor, a BDC rep, a receptionist, you can come for free. And we think attendance is going to go from our workshop, our conference mode 600 to probably several thousand, because
come on to the after parties, my friends.
So we need to get your community activated and out there because we're putting this on for you. We care about retail auto so much. our heart as ASOTU is to draw a really big circle around the entire industry. Wow. And we know there are people that walk into their store every day and they might just think like this is all there is to automotive. And we want to show them that it's cool to be passionate about retail auto. And then Tuesday, we're back just for a half of a day of programming again, hot breakfast, programming until noon. And then you can get back to your place. You get back to your store. You get back to your house. Flying out of Philly direct is really easy. So literally, you come in Sunday night, we hit it. You're at the event all day Monday, and Tuesday by noon, you can be on your way home with a direct flight. So trying to live what we speak.
The most expensive direct flight that I have found yet is from San Diego. There's a nonstop flight that gets you there at 2 on Sunday, and you can leave at 5 on Tuesday, and it's only $527 right now. That's from San Diego.
Wow.
Like,
right, everywhere.
And that's a nonstop flight too. Wow.
That's
Heck
a
yeah.
nonstop.
Yeah.
We love flying to Philly. Man,
That's one of my favorite places to land.
Definitely is. And everybody's going to get cheesesteaks. And
Folks.
we're going to have entertainment, and it's for free 99.
There's
Come on,
no
everybody.
matter what you eat in Philly, it's good. I've been to Philly a few times, my friends, and the food there is phenomenal. Everywhere you go, there's something good. Gino's is something you need to experience. If you've never been there, you've never had one, it is an iconic place to eat, and they're gonna have it there at the event. And Lou and I, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be on some mics. So we might even have a chance to talk to you on the big screen. So be looking for us on the side. You might get surprised. We might just put the mic in your face and have some fun. But this is gonna be great. This is the rebirth of the automotive conference. It's all right. We're over here in Philly, but no, I'm excited. I am so pumped up about this. Like what you all are talking about, the experience that you're trying to deliver, it's going to be phenomenal. And folks, it's not about what we sell you. It's about the education. It's about the fun, and it's about this industry making a change. So come, if you're ready for a change and you're ready to be wowed by different, come be wowed by different.
Yes. And as
please.
Everything that we bring to the table. So I love that it's wide open for anybody that works inside of a dealership or is connected to automotive. You need to be here because everybody coming together is what we're trying to show this industry we can do. We can integrate all of us. We can weave all of us together. And I love that you're consistently calling this the rebirth because that's what it is, everybody. We cannot go and unbe born, but we can reborn something new. We can bring something fresh. And I love that you're talking about how we're going to whistle while we work, right? We're going to make sure we find the way to have fun, have the music, have the entertainment, and bring the fun to the industry. If there's anything that we know people have said about you, and we know people have said about us, it's the fun that we bring. And this is ultimately what gravitates people to us. It's not because of the genius of car guys we are, but it's because we genuinely enjoy our work, enjoy the people we do it with, and enjoy our time doing it. We don't want to do it if it's not fun. If it's not fun, we're not doing it right. Whether you're at the dealership right now, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. You need to refigure that out. And we are going to make sure that we have that. And I also absolutely love that you're going to put a staple of the place that you're coming as part of the experience. Because so often we travel someplace and we never get to get a bite or a taste or a smell of the local area that you're at. And you're going to go ahead and knock that off the list and say, there you go. Get a Philly on us. Let's have some fun. I absolutely love it. This is going to be exciting. And we're going to get to hold a microphone and be live on the scene. I can't wait for that, man. It's going to be fun.
No doubt.
Yeah, we're like, who are we going to trust with that one? Right? Because there's going to be times throughout the day when, you're going to see your boys popping up on the screen, be like, hey, I'm coming to you from over here. We just had this. Here's what's coming up next. Let me talk to, Candace here, who just had an experience. Like, what is the best thing you learned this morning? And we're like, who are we going to trust with that? And they were like, oh, we know exactly who's going to rock that out.
That sound that was in your head. You said, oh,
that's right. You need to send us that track. You need to send us that track.
We'll make sure you
get it. Sure you get it. We'll make sure you get that for sure.
That'll be the audio cue. That's how you know it's about to go down. You're going to hear that playing throughout the place.
That's how we built this brand. You got to hear it. You got to.
Well, it all started with the logo. It all started with the logo.
Of course it did.
Wow. Well, man, this has been incredible, an incredible time. Please tell everybody how it is that they can get themselves set up to partake in this incredible event that we are rebirthing. You all are rebirthing.
Yeah, so head to ASOTUCon.com. That's ASOTUCON.com. You can get tickets. Dealers, if you work at or in a dealer or dealer group, your ticket is only $399. It includes all that food and all that good stuff. We only have a few industry partner tickets left. So if you are an industry partner, we're just prioritizing dealers, which you get. And making sure that collaborators are there. That's who we're calling the sponsors of the event. But that's only a $599 ticket. So we're not hitting you for the 2 G's that you might sometimes see. Make sure you get your tickets early and quickly, because they are going quickly at this point. We do have a limited amount of space, so we can't just like keep selling tickets till we stop selling them. So make sure you get your tickets now, and then engage with us. We're launching, like we said, a new podcast. We do have a daily podcast called the Automotive Troublemaker. We're launching a new podcast called Auto Collabs, which will actually introduce you to a lot of the speakers and collaborators that are coming to the event. And then get connected with our email. It's asotu.com. You can get our daily email, and that daily email just is our way of serving the industry and giving us something to think about, a little refreshing, and hopefully a couple laughs too from some of the things that we put in there. So that's how to stay connected.
Well, you heard it here, folks, and you know what's brewing, and you know what's getting ready to go down in Philly. Man, I cannot wait for this event to go down.
Now.
Yes, we are. We're going to see all kinds of Rocky fun stuff. People going to Philly for the first time. We're telling you, we might meet you up for a run in the morning.
Maybe we go for a run and hit those steps up. We'll do it together.
You should do that.
We should make
Rocky
sure.
You should do it.
We got to hit the steps, right? You guys
got to do the Rocky run.
In the morning. We got to get up those steps together. So let's go
phenomenal.
ahead and
please put together the Rocky run for me, since I can't do it, since I'm going to be setting up. Normally I would do the digital dealer run. So please, y'all got to put together the Rocky run for us. All right.
We got you. We'll have the microphone camera on it whole entire time. But as we get ready to do that, and we cannot wait, you know what we got to do is we fly on out of here. We are thankful that we can announce to the entire world, as they probably already known, because we love these guys and we love being around them.
No doubt.
It's that Paul and Kyle from ASOTU are 100%
CGC approved.
That's right, everybody. You know the deal. This is the CGC approved conference that you need to find yourself at. And if you're not there,
get there.
Why aren't you there? You need to make sure that you're out there. So let's go ahead and make sure that we do forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing as we head out of here. Look at this. It fits us in here perfectly.
It does.
It looks amazing. Look at you right around. Look at that little.
Everybody, let's go ahead and get this rocking.
Hold on. Screenshot that guy.
I got that already.
Let's brew on 3. Everybody, forgive, focus, fly, and let's keep growing. 1, 2, 3.
Forgive. Focus. Fly. And keep growing. www.asotucon.com. Go get your tickets before they're sold out, my friends. We're all going to be there. It's going to be fun. Come grow with us. Let's go.
I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Frelin Arts, the subprime hero.
And you have been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast with the incredible dynamic duo of Paul and Kyle from the Automotive State of the Union. We appreciate you all having
taking you to church, my friends. God bless you all. Be blessed.
Yep.
Keep growing, my friends. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.